So it occurred to me this morning on my daily coffee run that I haven't told you guys any of my stories about my time in the workforce. Now, unlike some YouTubers, I actually have worked real jobs before. It wasn't something where I started this channel when I was, a teenager and then it became a job before I graduated. Oh, no. I worked. Some of you who have been with this channel since the beginning might actually know where I've worked before. I've actually had jobs at IHOP, Target, and the UPS store. Now, the UPS store we'll get to later. For today, I would like to focus on an event that happened at IHOP. That's right, folks. Good old Xycron used to work at the International House of Pancakes. As a matter of fact, one of my aunts is actually the head of training for the entire country. Yeah, she's pretty high up the corporate chain. It feels like 90% of my family has worked at IHOP at least once. So naturally, my first job was gonna be there. It was a shoo-in first job. Now, if I say the word IHOP about 70,000 times throughout this story, I do apologize. It's just, I don't know what else to call it other than Bing Bong Pancake Store. During my 1 year there, I was a host. For those of you that don't know what a host does, they're that cheery asshole that sits at the front of the restaurant, either takes your name or seats you. They also clean tables and shit. That was my job. Easiest one in the restaurant. Except for maybe the busboys, but even they got more respect than me. Funnily enough, we were actually called the Red Shirts. Why? Because we wore red shirts. Why else? Because there was such a high turnover rate for the job that they made a Star Trek joke about it. The red shirts from Star Trek being the only ones that ever died. You know what? We're getting off track here. It was a cheery fucking morning. Sometime after the summer. So it was getting a little bit colder in the winter months, November, December-ish. Now keep in mind, at this stage of my life, I lived in a house with a roommate, and I had to travel about 10 miles every day to get to IHOP by bus and walking. And normally, as a host, your shift starts at 7 a.m. Now, like I mentioned before, it was just a regular, cheery, fucking cold-ass morning. Listening to music on my way to work, I have not a care in the world. Okay, I'm just kidding. As a matter of fact, I never got used to having that job, and it was awful, awful, awful. One of the reasons why, no matter what happens, I refuse to ever work in the restaurant industry again. You know what they say, beggars can't be choosers. Well, guess what? I ain't begging. So I arrive about 15 minutes early, like I do every day, so I can chug some of my energy drink or grab some soda or some shit like that, before I inevitably have to step out onto the floor and start cleaning tables and kissing elderly ass. Sometimes literally. Okay, not really. It would have made for a more interesting dynamic, though. Now, sometimes as a host, you will also have to take people's drink orders and bring it back to the table for them. This doesn't happen too much, but sometimes people sit down and right away they want their drinks, so they don't wait for the server and they'll just ask me, which is perfectly fine because it's in the job description. But this just so happened to be a very large group of people. I think it was 6 or 7, so we actually had to put a couple tables together and it took some extra time, whatever. And in this particular instance, everybody ordered a water and whatever else they wanted. So it was like 7 orange juices and then 7 waters. So there had to be a few of us to safely carry that shit around and get it to the table. This is where my life slowly started to unravel and basically ruin my day. You see, I hated bringing people their drinks, mainly because I never got really good control over the tray. You see, sometimes you lose balance. As a matter of fact, it's very, very easy to lose balance. Because, think about it. You got like 7 waters on a round tray, and you're taking them from one side onto the table. Eventually, it becomes right heavy and flies off of your arm. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly what happened here. Oh, no. You see, I only had 1 glass left on my tray, and I can't remember how this happened, but unfortunately, something bumped the tray, and the next thing you know, an entire glass of ice water pours straight down. They're like the perfect angle from this woman's right shoulder all the way down her chest into her lap. A full glass at 7:30 in the morning. Needless to say, she was a little bit annoyed with me the rest of the time they were there. Luckily, she didn't hate me. She just didn't really like me for what should be very, very obvious reasons. At least she didn't need her coffee after that. At this point, I don't even know what the morals to these stories are. Maybe the point of these things is, I'm a weirdo and an idiot, get used to it, it's funny, haha. Laugh at the big klutz. Luckily, there weren't like any crazy repercussions for me. I was good at my job. Could ask my managers and they would deny it, but I really was. The only thing I ever really refused to do for them was become a server. Why? Because I worked with all the servers there for a year. And you know what? I would rather die than be a server at an IHOP that was that busy. Seriously, that place pulled in like 20 grand a week. Either way, I'm an idiot. What else is new? Am I right? Now, luckily, that was the last I ever saw of that woman. I bet she's out there right now, glaring at a picture of my face, hung up on the wall by a knife, just rubbing her hands, planning her revenge one day. I'm gonna wake up, go to take a shower, and someone's gonna be there with a big bucket of ice water. It's gonna be her. She's gonna get me back. Okay, probably not. And with that, we have come to the end of today's story. Always remember, if you even somewhat enjoyed, consider dropping a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then consider subscribing. And until the next time I tell you about my many fun, crazy work stories, I'll be seeing you.